Cal, can you hear me? All right, so we're basically. I want to get your thoughts. You know, you run a nonprofit. Encourage me. I'm young. Good fathers only. I want you to let the people know what advice could you give to the youth, well, to the parents and to their kids on just some type of structure of how they can get through this situation.
Yeah.
Is he here? You
You
here?
there? Let's go back to him. Cheryl, can you hear me?
I can,
All right.
yes.
Yeah, Cheryl is from Detroit. She's a good friend of mine. Used to work with me years ago, and I'm glad that she joined the panel today. Cheryl, what's your thought on what we're talking about?
Yes, a couple things. Heard some good things. But we were talking about the homeschooling, and I'm actually on another live too. So excuse me for coming in and out. But I've heard some good stories from single parents and also homes that had the husband and wife in the home and putting the kids on the schedule, and it seems to be working out good for both of them. So that's good report on that end. My question is, we don't know where this thing is going and how long it's going to go. We talk about this Rona, as we, if you will, and getting the kids back to school. And whether it's I've heard some superintendents say they might start in July or August, or start early so the kids can catch up. But will they be ready? How will we protect them? And that's my concern. I have two great nieces. One, she's in preschool, but I just can't see her going back to school unprotected and just not knowing with this virus out there. You know, how are we going to protect the kids? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Derek. Let Derek go.
So, if I can spotlight 1 second and just start into my little statement here before I give some thoughts on that. Happy Mother's Day to all the devoted mothers and making a difference to all
Thank
that
you.
you do.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Um, you know, I think the undercurrent, the medicinal side of this time that we're having, um, this isolated, I call it hibernating of sorts, right? Is about refreshing our relationships, right? And refreshing some of the fundamental things that we've gotten so far away from. One of those things I believe in, to the sister's questionnaire, is how can the kids play a vital part when they go back, safeguard themselves. I'm one that's been saying it's about going back to the basics, the fundamentals, like the things that our mamas and our grandmamas used to tell us about. Mine, like nobody wants your germs. Those that nobody attacked them for saying that. You know what I mean? Be be a big part, play our part about hygiene, right? These are things that we have time to school our kids about to safeguard their health, livelihood. Some of us have gotten away from that because we've been too busy, wrapped up, tied up into survival, the rat race, and getting things done. But this is a time that we don't realize sometimes it's instrumental and priceless for us to kind of revisit the foundation, right? Make sure our kids have a good set of called life scruples or survival skills, you know what I mean? And just say to them, okay, make sure that you take an extra precaution to safeguard yourself by doing X, Y, and Z. Your hygiene's important, your routines and your gargling, your cleaning up well, be conscientious of people around you, all of those things going forward with kids, especially since they're so close together and they're not normally very mindful of these things. It's not going to be normal. But that's the thing that I think we can do to help ourselves. You know, take do our part. I hope that's not sounding too textbook
Well,
for anybody.
I understand what you're saying, but and Don knows me. That's normal. You know, that's a normal teaching. Like in my house, my kids are grown, so I'm not even speaking on myself as family members. But we're wearing masks now, so we're at a whole nother level. This is a whole new enemy, if you will. And you know, it would be great if it dies down in the summer and the high temperatures kills this virus off. But if it doesn't,
Not gonna happen.
I guess we keep homeschooling. How do we prepare us prepare our
It's not gonna
children
happen.
so they're protected with the mask? Do we, like 2 kids at a table? I'm personally, I'm fearful of the kids going back to school. That's just my honest thought right now.
Hey, I
Well,
want to help Cheryl.
here's the, go ahead,
I just
I
want to
had,
make
a,
one
had
quick.
an answer. I had a call
I
today,
want to make one
Cheryl.
quick statement on that one right there. What you got to remember is that during China, during Austria, during the European countries over there, that was their summer when this was our winter. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to see how rapidly it grew in their summer when this was our winter. So that virus is not going to go down simply because it's summer. Now, I'm going to say this last point. If you think about the North Pole and the South Pole, that virus was not there until a ship came in the South Pole, and one of the people, white, had the coronavirus, and that's what started it. At in that particular port, I'm gonna say that because I know they call it another name. That's what started it there. But in the winter, when God makes the winter, it kills the germs. It deceased them, except one thing that man could not conquer, and that was the common cold. But the common cold gets us a little bit through the winter, but in the summertime, what did they always say? You don't want to get that cold during the summertime because it lasts a long time. This is the
That's true.
Superman of common cold, coronavirus.
Hey, Cheryl, I want to answer your question about what things are going to look like. I was on a call today with a school district I work closely with, and they said what they're anticipating, and I thought it was a very simplistic but powerful idea, is splitting it up to have online learning for a group of kids during the day while the other kids are in school, and it's flipping it. So pretty much take the school and cut it in half. So right there, that can help you kind of get those numbers. So I think that approach made good. And the one quick thing I want to say, especially for the educators, and I'm fortunate my daughter is being privately schooled. All this virus did, and this quarantine did, was exacerbate your educational experience. If you was already struggling with the educational experience, it only exacerbated that way. If you had we Zoom with our teacher, I'm texting the teacher, my daughter's doing her assignment, she's staying on point. And I think it's only just exacerbating what was already going on. And
hey, we got
I got that.
Hey, we got Larice. Unmute your mic, Larice.
Hello?
Yeah. Larice is a mother, and so she's dealing with it directly. She's a single mother. Talk to us about how you're dealing with this and your kids.
I'm sorry, Don. You said
I'm
having them turn it down.
with you being a mother, I'm saying, how are you dealing with just the safety of your kids as far as the schooling and all of the things that go with being a parent during this COVID crisis?
Well, I'm losing my mind. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm a single mother of 3 small children, ages 10, 9, and 1. So when they are doing their Zoom learning, they're both on at the same time. They're both raising their hand to call on me at the same time. They have different programs that they're doing, class dojo, religion here, this other program. They have to write this and send a message to this teacher. It's so much going on. So I just laugh at it because I look at it as it was a joke going around that the teachers got us keeping their kids now, which was, I found that amusing. Because it's true, you know, they see them more than they would see us. We'll be at work, they'll be at school. But it's actually a good thing because someone had mentioned, I can't remember who it was, but you know how your kids will come home and say, well, I didn't have this for school. I don't know what she said, but now I'm right there. I get everything. Or they send me messages so I can see everything, what you're doing. I'm helping you do most of everything. So you can't say the teacher this and that. So now I've learned the difference between my 2 older children. You know, my son, he's a brainiac. He catches on really fast, but he pays less attention in class. So he'll be the kid that's on his phone trying to send a text message or something instead of listening. But if you ask him a question, he can catch on. On my daughter, it takes her a little bit longer, but she's the kid that's sitting there focused, you know, at attention, paying attention. But it's actually good because I get to spend that one-on-one time with them. And I actually, overall, I enjoy it, but you have to have them on the schedule. So I do know the times that they're going to be in their classes. I make sure that they're sitting at the table. One is sitting here, and you have to keep them separated because the teacher will unmute the background, and they're like, make sure that they're quiet. They have to be in uniform too. My kids have to be in their school uniform shirt. So they want them to be in the mindset of school. Like now my baby is making noise, but he can't do that while they're in class. So they take off points for that. If I say something to them and they hear it, they take off points for that. So everything has to be like structure classroom. No eating. You know, they don't even want them to have on their AirPods or headphones. They have to just sit there like at attention and writing. So
I think Cal is ready to jump in.
Cal, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so in the process, I think everybody's right. I think what we should be, what we trying to do with our mentees is make sure that they stay sharp, right? And when they come out of this, how much better can a kid be because they had the routine at all, plus the parental involvement is up pretty high. We should have a lot more, I think the kids should come out of this a lot better because of that. Because now you've been conditioned to understand that the parent is completely involved, where in the past, we all know working, the parent was not really involved at the school. You could go to a parent-teacher conference, it'd be 10 people. Whereas now, your involvement is gonna be real high. And what we're trying to do, kind of like what Chuck is doing with the training, is we're constantly reminding our kids to get some physical in. So once school is over, send them outside, let them jump the fence, put them in the backyard, let them get some of that physical too, because that's going to help them. And then as far as the mask, there are studies coming out about how the mask might be the wrong thing because of the virus, your natural virus, attacking you while you got the mask on. So there's some things out there about that as well. So we have to be very, very conscious about preparing our kids, getting their immune system up and everything.
So this is the question I want to put out here. Somebody mentioned the new normal. Everybody's been at home in some capacity. Whether I'm considered to be an essential worker, so I'm actually out, but when I go to work, I come home. Some of you are working from home. One of the things that I think we all have had to do is we've spent a lot of time by ourselves. Lindsay said something to the effect that one of the scariest things is that you're at home with your own thoughts. And the situation is that when you really think about how your life is, I can say for me, is I'm always moving. So when you always moving, you never have a chance to think until you go to sleep at night, and then you just fall asleep and you wake up and you start moving again. And so I think that we've all had to learn different things. And I'll have Carla start this off because she's mentioned about her taking up yoga, and that's my sister, and she's never talked about yoga. But now she's a yoga person, and she's got a whole new, she got a fireplace, if you want to show us your fireplace, and she got a whole little setup. So I want to kind of go around real quick to see so maybe I can learn, we can share what we've taken up, what we've done, what we've learned how to do, maybe a new hobby or something that we've done in this time period. Carla, you start.
Okay, so it's not yoga that I'm doing meditation with a sound bowl. And you all can Google what a sound bowl is, but it's like sound and quiet and it's peaceful. And
Lindsay, is that it, Carla?
No. And so what I've been doing is like for an hour each night, I consider it me time. And I sit in front of my fireplace, and let me show you. I don't know how to turn this around. How do I do it? Can I turn this around? Oh, sorry. Can you see it?
Yes. And I got to get me one of them.
So it goes in all different colors. And what I do, I sit in front of that every night for about an hour and just listen to sounds with just nothing but quiet. And just like Donald was saying, that I'm always used to going. So this is the first time I can remember. Uh, Donald, can you hear?
Yeah, somebody, I gotta mute somebody.
Cheryl, mute.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay. So what I've been doing is just kind of sitting here for an hour each night. And for the first time last night, I did it, and I didn't fall asleep, but I went into like a deep. As I get more and more to it, I am finding I'm going deeper. And yesterday I woke up, and I not woke up, but kind of got out of it or whatever. I don't even know what it is. I'm so new to it, but I just kind of snapped out of it, and I felt like I had real good energy around me. And typically I go to sleep with the TV on, but now since I've been meditating, I'm able to go to sleep and sleep peacefully. I feel like positive energy. So I'm gonna continue to do that. And I encourage anybody to just kind of just go to Google or to your Apple Music and Google Sound Bowls. It's really something.
Okay.
And
Anybody else have any? Yep. Anybody else?
Yeah, who's next? Who's taking up something? Who's learned something? Go ahead, Derek.
So this morning I'm up at 5, and it's part of what Sister Carla does there is meditate. But I start before the sound of the world starts. Go downstairs or down the hallway here in the tower and watch the sunrise. But just get my prayer and meditation before phone starts ringing and things. Well, I didn't feel like getting back in bed after that, so it started me in a productive mode. I replanted some plants today. Looked like they were struggling in a small pot. You know what I mean? And I started thinking about, okay, how can I grow some vegetables? But after I got done with that, I felt good because I was like kind of at one with nature. That doesn't sound too like emasculating. I felt good because I was doing something that was kind of had me at peace, right? So those are, and then just having some projects. I've been working on a business plan with my dad. In fact, let me just say this, if I may. Next week, I'm gonna invite my dad, since you gave me the opportunity to invite someone special. I would like everyone to be on that call, if you don't mind, who's here now, because my dad was one of those wrongly convicted men. He just came home last Christmas.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I've been fighting his campaign. So as you know, my life right now is breathing, right? It used to be broken, but now it's breathing because I got him home, and I'm just taking time to find out who I am all over again.
And you know what? And I'll say this real quick, Derek, and you can finish up. Until you just said that, because I've known Derek for several years, I remember when you were telling me about, I was doing the radio, and you were saying your father was in jail and he was wrongly convicted, and he was talking about that, man. So I'm so happy that he's out, and definitely, man, and we would love to have him as a special guest to just hear what's going on. So tell him I'm gonna be bugging you all week to make sure you and him come on.
Yeah, I'm invited this week.
Definitely.
But that's what I've been doing. I've been standing on my head on the Swiss ball. You know, that Swiss ball is a lifesaver, by the way.
What is it?
You know that big plastic ball you get at Walmart that you see at the gym?
Yeah.
I don't sit on my bed. I sit on that Swiss ball and just I go in every direction that allow me, but I feel good when I get up from making friends with the floor, you know? So.
Hey, well, the next person is Will. Will has, I know the answer to his question, but I'm just going to give him opportunity. Will, tell us, not so much a business presentation, but just tell us how you kind of, in this time, you kind of had a business opportunity just develop. God has just opened up the door for you.
Yeah, well, you know, well, right now what I've been doing was taking courses online while we're in there. I got 3 courses I'm taking, all based on the business, which is the plant-based and wellness, juicing. I'm taking the class on juicing and all kinds of stuff. But the business that fell in my lap was the CMOS, yes, and you know, developing more cooking recipes. But the CMOS has taken off, and I mean, it's just, you know what they say. The Bible says God makes room for your gift, and this is truly a passion for me to pass this on to our people, health and wellness. You know, we have been conditioned to live and eat a certain way. I look at our neighborhoods, man. I work in one of them. Me and my co-partner were just talking about that. And so for me, this time off has allowed me to pursue this business, and it has taken off thanks to you and some of your family and Carla, seeing her today. And how did you like them?
Amazing. I was gonna
All
call
right.
you after this. The
That's okay.
mushrooms, amazing. And I don't even like mushrooms.
Here's a testimony. Me and my sister don't like mushrooms at all. Clarence, I think I told you about this. They call oyster mushrooms. And when I say for all the guys that eat meat or don't eat meat, these were actually the best tasting vegetables I have ever had, ever. And it tastes just like meat. It tastes like fish. It just tasted good. And I'm going to get a pan on Sunday. He getting my money on Sunday. But I went by his house, and I've known Will for a long time. And Will has his kitchen that he's developed. I was so happy for him that he's developing his business, and this opportunity has kind of come full circle for him just from being at home. And go ahead. What'd you say, Will?
Right here, sitting in my kitchen. Now, this is my laptop on my kitchen table. This is my office.
I know exactly where you're sitting at, in this small kitchen with all that stuff in there. But he's making it happen. So, Kim, we haven't heard from you. What have you done? Like, since you've been, I don't know if you're a essential worker or if you are a working from home or whatever. What have you done? What new activity, what new thing have you discovered about yourself are you doing?
All right. Thank you. No, yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
This is my first time joining, and I just wanted to be a silent listener just to kind of learn and hear, and with this conversation. This has been a very fruitful. Absolutely, but I have just wanted to listen though. The first time, see what this call is about, and this has been wonderful. Let me say this: there's been so many things that I've learned and also could agree with, and I'm learning that Fridays I'm going to come with my pen and paper in the future to write down my notes, so when I jump in, I'm ready to make comments. There's so many things I could have commented on throughout this evening, but this is an example of what I've been doing. I've been painting. Just having a good time. But that's just something that I've always liked to do for myself. But my family, let me say this, despite all of what's been happening, I think this has been a very good experience for my family, because we've been able to focus on things that we usually would be in a hustle and a bustle, in the rat race, as was mentioned earlier. So we didn't have time to, in the morning, I would rush prayer. I can remember my days back, the normal days, as we call them, rushing my son out the door to get him to school. We'd get up, we'd rush and have prayer in the car as I'm taking him to school. And now we have the time to get back to the basics, which is what I was rooted and grounded on. And it means so much to me, so I can really make sure that my family is, I could take the time and be the mother that, I've always felt like I've been a good mother, but I can really focus on those foundational things that are so important to me and, growing up, and make sure they're instilled in my children. Just the prayer. We get on our knees in the morning as a family, and we were eating dinner all together. That was not the norm for us, because we'd be ripping and running with practices, and everybody's athletic, and we have all this this dynamic agenda throughout the day that we juggled, you know, and we did so well. We were so good at finagling things and making it magic happen that we were really missing the basics, you know, that I was raised with. And so we're able to get back to that, and that foundational base is very important, and that's what I've been really focusing on with bringing to my family during this time. Another thing is just, you know, gardening. I've already flipped my ground. We're in Michigan. My ground is turned, and I'm ready. We're ready. And that's one of those things that I'm ready to teach my children, because we're talking meat shortage and whatever else might be going on out there. But this is all contributing to the healthy living that we're promoting right now. And
Let me hold on,
gardening.
hold on. I just want to jump in. Kim is our cousin. Just like probably my older sister. She being modest about this garden thing.
Yeah,
now, I'm gonna just keep it real with you. We've been over our cousin Kim house. Kim has string beans growing from the fence. String beans growing from the fence.
Whole beans.
Cabbage, corn, squash. I mean, and it's done with love and with family. Like that's really what we're about. And I'm telling you, I went over there and I'm looking in the garden and it's whole heads of cabbage. Just like, are you serious? Like this is that's what it's about.
We're still eating on collard greens that were blanched and frozen from the last season, even though we sent bags to other people.
See?
So, you know, but I attribute that to my grandmother, Maddie Morgan. She was awesome. She taught me these things.
Granny.
And we're doing that. And guess what? It is imperative. I was listening to it's imperative that we teach that to our children, though. And
the rabbits ain't getting your garden, Kim. The rabbits ain't getting it. I mean,
no.
She got a scarecrow. She got a scarecrow in the garden.
What? She got a scarecrow.
Marigolds, they don't like those.
Kim, what's your secret?
Well, it's a lot of things. We do a lot, and we read, and I mean, everything Grandma told me. We keep the little caterpillars and from getting holes in your collard greens, everything. So listen.
That's awesome.
We definitely, I heard it earlier. I have a young black male in my house. It is so imperative that we continue to keep them on those routines, which I'm doing. And so I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one doing it. And sometimes, just like how you fast for no reason, believe it or not because you need to, because somebody's going through something, you do a spiritual fast because you need this breakthrough. But how about just because you want to keep your body in check and reminded that, you know, who's in charge, those checkups. So we do that even with my kid. It's not because he doesn't deserve to get on the game sometimes. Like today, I made him get off of it earlier. And he's a great kid with a high grade point average, but it's like, you know what? Too much time is there. And I want to make sure he has balance and that he keeps the control, you know, we keep that under control, that appetite to get on that social media, the appetite to get on, you know, what they say, idle mind is a devil's workshop. So it's like we would just, sometimes it's just saying, no, cut it off. Not because we have to, but because we need to. So those kind of things. But I love all that I'm hearing.
Hey, man.
We're glad that you came on, and definitely I'm gonna tell Clarence. I'm gonna call you the vegetable lady. So I'm gonna tell Clarence. I'm gonna be like, hey man, I don't remember her name. You know, the girl that got all the stuff growing on the fences. That's what we want. You know, so that's a beautiful thing. Hey, Rick, what have you picked up? I mean, you know, what have you learned? What new hobby or what are you doing?
Oh man, so much good stuff, and it's just so wonderful to hear you guys, man. It's just wonderful, Kim. You're doing a great job. It's just good to be here, just to listen to good people doing good things. For me, as an insurance agent, I focus more on my business. I focus more on continuing to build my business. We learning how to operate through Zoom and through platforms like Zoom. And then again, I'm also studying for the property and casualty license just as well, because I have life and health. So I'm very, very dedicated into what I do. You know, I'm a former mortgage broker. God has blessed me so much with so much being involved with so many different things. You know, I heard somebody say some black people are the jack of all trades, and they come back with a negative with that I'm not going to even say because I don't even like it. But we have to do what we have to do to try to make it. And I'm blessed to have a business that is very, very challenging. I'm blessed to have a business that I'm successful in. I'm blessed to have a business that I have residuals coming in at the time of this coronavirus. So I'm improving my business. I'm very, very focused on it. I just turned 62 years old on April 27th. The coronavirus has attacked my family, but we're moving ahead and moving ahead strong. We believe in the great I am. And so my new learning is basically learning different how to put together different products that I'm offering to people. You know, the IUL, which is part of life. I'm learning different products in my business. I'm excited about that, and so being excited about that, that's what gives me my energy. That's what gives me my drive. That's what makes me just want to just continue to do it. I come in my office every day and I work here. I am happy. I work with my children. I've seen things in them that I thought I knew them, but I guess I really did know them. So I'm really learning them and I'm loving every minute of it. So that's new within my life. And then being a part of this program too, wow, that's another newness in my life. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Hey,
Hey, Lindsay, go ahead, Cal. Go ahead, Clarence, go
before
ahead.
Lindsay, before you jump in, I just wanna throw out. Do you mind if I throw mine out right quick?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's just a couple things. For those that don't know, I did get my FAA license to fly drones. So I am now a certified small pilot operator. And yeah,
I know you have to have license for that.
yeah, many.
Wave of the future.
I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
No, so that's the wave of the future right there,
Yeah,
bro.
yep, it sure is. And then here's another thing I just want to share with everybody. I hate a few people left. I didn't get to let you guys know, but one of my good friends sent me some information. Listen to this. Now, this is for anybody that wants something to do. Listen to this, guys. Harvard. Are y'all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening.
Harvard has 62 online certification courses. Do not leave this epidemic the same. Do not leave the epidemic the way you came in. I want to give you some of the courses that Harvard is offering you for free.
Free.
These are
I'm
free
in.
courses. Introduction to game development, web programming in Python and JavaScript, mobile app development with React Native, lessons from Ebola preventing the next pandemic, nonprofit financial stewardship webinar, introduction to accounting and financial statements, introduction to computer science, religious literacy, traditions and scriptures, religion, conflict, and peace, Buddhism through its scriptures, Judaism through its scriptures, Hinduism, Christianity, science and cooking, from a healthy cuisine to soft matter science, physics. These are just to name a few. So if anybody needs anything to do, you can apply for Harvard. That is all.
Hey, that's some good information, and I'm actually gonna take that information and do something with it, because just to have anything connected to my name that has Harvard next to it means a whole lot.
Yes,
That's a
indeed.
game changer.
Yes,
That's a game
yes,
changer right
yes,
there. But
indeed.
go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'll be brief, but this is kind of something I've been thinking about for a minute. And I'm grateful for this platform because being on here has increased my familiarity with Zoom. I'm sure that a lot of people weren't all super tight on Zoom. So what I've been doing, one of the biggest highlights of my work is being able to be out at the sports events like Clarence, interviewing athletes, interviewing players. But of course, we've been prevented from doing that. But what Zoom has enabled me to do is to continue with my goal. Every Monday, I do a Monday motivation on Facebook. You guys feel free to follow me or look at my YouTube channel, the SBSEdge.com or the SBS Edge. You can see that. And I want to give a preview that your goals need to be your compass. We have to remember what goals we had before the pandemic started, because the pandemic has shook us up a little bit, and some of us have kind of lost our way of where we're going. So one of my goals, and I'm not afraid to say it because we have a fear of failure when it comes down to putting our goals out there. Well, I don't want to say it because if I say it, it may not happen. One of my goals is for SBS to become the ESPN of sports psychology, and using this online platform, but the interviews and all the information I put out, I can do that. And also, one of my goals, I'll put this out here too, and you all are welcome, to become enshrined in the NBA Hall of Fame. Y'all probably like, Lindsay, what are you talking about? You never played basketball on a high level. Well, the criteria to become a member of the Naismith Hall of Fame is to make a significant contribution to basketball. So if I stay on this track 10, 20 years, I feel I can do that. So here's where I'm at. What I've been doing during this COVID-19, I've been doing Zoom interviews. I've been just reaching out to the people I know, and I've been doing those interviews, which have allowed me to be able to do more for less. I sit right here in this same chair in my home and do these interviews with people all over the country and provide all these resources to people. And now I got people just lined up, ready to go. So I say I've taken advantage, and this whole platform being with you guys has enabled me to do that, and I'm appreciative of that. And I think that so many great things can happen on the other side of COVID-19.
And thank you for being with us, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody, man, for real.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely appreciate everybody. We only got probably about 15 minutes left, give or take. Definitely, it was another monumental meeting. I mean, earlier tonight it kind of got heated, but it should have got heated a little early based on some of the things that have gone on. I encourage everybody to, come back next week. We're going to have Derek's father hopefully come on and talk to us about some of the things that he experienced, which, to be wrongly convicted. How long was he in jail for, Derek?
30 years. He's my hero.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, that almost brings tears to my eyes because my father is no longer here. He's passed away, but I can't imagine him. I mean, I can't imagine what you were dealing with not having your dad there for 30 years. And
I was fighting that campaign, and it almost sometimes felt like I was by myself, brother, but every day Dad says you never gave up,
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. How old is he now?
Dad is 70, just probably around 7. I think he's 75 or 76, if I'm pretty close.
Okay, good for him. Good for him, and that's that's a great thing. So definitely tell him that he's welcome to come back on next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We definitely enjoy Miss Gracie, who's been sitting back in the cut. She gave us our whole. If I want to have a conversation about Mississippi burning, I know who I can have that conversation with, Miss Gracie. I know she knows all the stuff that went on back in the day. So this is what I want to do. Every show I want to try to end on a good note. Like, we started off really kind of heavy. Is everybody's, I'm pretty sure at one point or another, is watching Netflix. At some point you're watching a movie. So I want to kind of go around and see what you guys are watching, because maybe somebody is missing something, and maybe you can show us. And my sister put her hand up right away because she's a Netflix queen. So tell us what you are watching on Netflix, Carla. We're gonna go around everybody. We're gonna end it.
I watched Becoming the Michelle Obama Story. And I was so inspired. I started reading a book and just life got in the way. It was nothing wrong with the book. It was just me just started doing something else and didn't take the opportunity to finish it. So when I saw that it was on Netflix, I said, I'm going to sit down and watch it. And it was probably the best 90s minutes that I've had in a long time. Because it really showed how strong she was, the stuff that she went through to always remain poised and grace, and just how hard it was, because Michelle Obama is, whatever you see, she's really a sister. And so I was just really like proud to see that and everything that she went through and the struggles that she went through and how she just made it look easy. I recommend that everybody see that.
What about you, Charles? Have you watching anything?
Yeah, well, you know, we watched. I love the gangster movies, so Narcos Mexico.
Yeah,
I
good
love,
movie.
love that whole thing. Peaky Blinders. That's a good little Irish gangster type in England type of thing. And right now I was a little hesitant, but I'm watching Black as AF. You know, it's really and
That's
once
an
I dug.
interesting show.
Well, when I dug into it, and you know, it's based off his life experience. You know, there people have a lot of debate about whether Rashida should be in it or whatever, but that's his life experience. You know, that's his wife was biracial and whatever, and that's what their kids would look like, or their kids do look like. So it's just a very interesting perspective of a different you know, black family in LA, and they got some money and they trying to pull it. It's a really good show. I thought it was you know, I was a little hesitant at first, but
what about you, Derek?
I'm on a Denzel bandwagon, catching up with some of those masterpieces like Antoine Fisher and some good life stories. The Hurricane is almost close to Dad's story. You know what I mean? So I mean, you can't go wrong with Denzel, in my opinion. So I just admire this guy's acting his skill set, man. So that's pretty much where I've been kind of like winding up.
Hey, Miss Gracie, are you she went off. She come. Miss Gracie, are you watching anything on Netflix? Hold up. Let me unmute you. Hold up. There you go.
No, I'm not much of a television person.
Okay.
I do a lot of Bible study.
Okay.
Do a lot of reading.
Okay.
Good.
Which is more important than movies anyway. So you know, at the end of the day.
You got it. You do you have a good word for us? Drop a good word for us.
But my favorite word is, through all of this, we might not understand everything that's going on, but the Lord is saying, just trust me.
Yes.
Trust me. We have to trust him in whatever circumstances, whatever's going on. Trust him. Trust what he's saying in his word.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good word. Rick, do you have a movie?
No, not really. I basically just been watching what's on regular Direct TV. I'm a fan of Naked and Afraid and
Naked and Afraid. Hey, Rick, I don't know if you even need to say anything else about that. Because anybody that's naked and afraid is not a good
actually,
thing.
Don, truly, that is a series with people actually are in different parts of the world and they are learning how to live off the land.
Off the land, right?
Yeah. It is really challenging, and looking at some of the things that they have done. So if you haven't heard of it, go on YouTube and just type it in, Naked and Afraid.
They usually end up on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Of a couple people, and they have to survive for like 2 weeks.
21 days.
21 days.
14 days they did have it, but they stopped airing that. So they started showing 21 days and then they go to 40 days. I don't know why. I'm just hooked on that. So hey.
What about you, Will? You watching anything?
Documentaries
Huh?
on Netflix. A lot of the documentaries on Netflix I watch, health, that health stuff. I seen what help. I'm watching one called The C Word, uh, about cancer and, how you can prevent that stuff. These diseases, most of the stuff they finding is due to inflammation in our bodies, because standard American diet uh, breeds and promotes inflammation, and inflammation is what's inside of us. So diseases can't thrive in an alkaline environment, but they do in an inflammation environment. So a lot of these documentaries that I'm finding that's on Netflix, and there's quite a few of them, they really show, they all saying the same thing: our relationship to our diet and our nutrition, and what we're doing here in this country is why we're dying the way we are. And then you think about African Americans, you just put that 10 times us. So I'm trying to study every chance I get. I'm trying to help our people, man. I really am. So that's what I've been doing.
How about you, Lindsay? Any Netflix sport movies or anything you watching?
Well, I've been watching so many reruns, all the things, and get my last dance in. But two Netflix that have been really good. One was Uncorked. I don't know if anyone has ever seen that one. That was really good. It's a sleeper. It's just about, I won't even give it away, but it's something to check out. And the other, ironically, was Travis Scott's documentary. I think it's I Believe I Can Fly, or I Believe I Have Wings. Mama, I Got Wings. And one thing that stood out, in 2014, he was performing in front of literally 15 people. And here it is, 6 years later, he's selling out shows, selling out Madison Square Garden, and he's up for a Grammy. So those are two that I was really inspired by.
Hey, Clarence, what about you? Any good movies?
We've been watching Ozark.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
Ozark is a pretty good series. And then
Waiting for 4.
My wife has been telling me about a series called Bloodline. So that's one I'm going to check out.
I watched a movie last night. I don't think it might have been on Netflix, or I don't know where. I got a few different services. The movie called The Gentleman. I don't know if you've seen that. The Gentleman. That's actually it almost kind of reminds you, if you like Pulp Fiction, you'll like The Gentleman. It's a real gritty, crazy, you just don't know. It's Matthew McConaughey is the star. He plays an excellent role. It's a really, really good movie. And then I watched, like Lindsay said, sometimes, like right now, there are not any new movies coming out. So there's no new movies coming out. So now you got to go back into the history books. One of the movies that I'm a horror movie fanatic, so I love horror movies. I've seen all of them.
Black and white.
If anybody hasn't seen it, Dawn of the Dead.
I remember that.
It's actually a classic. I watched it the other night, and I hadn't seen it in 20 years, so it was like watching it for the first time. And it's so eerie that it's so close to some of the things that we're dealing with right now in the reality. So, but listen, it's 9:59. It's 1 minute before the hour. We definitely appreciate Derek. Real quick, what was your thought? You're the only. We're going to ask Kim and you real quick. What was your thought on tonight for your first show?
You talking to me, sir?
Yeah, yes, Derek.
Yes, sir. Did you say I missed the question?
I said, what was your thought? We just closing everything up. I was just like getting the last thing. What was your thought? This being your first show. That's what I was saying.
Oh, amazing, man! Amazing. This is what this is actually better than food for me tonight.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Well, we look forward to you next week. What about you, Kim? Let me unmute you. Hold up. Let me unmute you, veggie lady.
Yep, I'm good actually. This was wonderful, as I stated earlier. And to answer your question that you had on the floor, it's not new to us, but I showed to my children that when they see us, or however that title is about the Central Park.
Oh yeah, that was moving.
Yeah, I'm having my kids watch that lately, so that was a pretty good one too with YouTube. But this was great. This won't be my last time.
Definitely, we definitely are glad. Clarence, why don't you tell us something we get every week? Clarence and I we challenge ourselves to try to do something to try to do out what we did last week. So we got something new that we launched at the beginning of the week. Tell them about it, Clarence.
Okay, so we launched our YouTube page. Our past videos that we've had, those will be posted on there soon. We do have a few clips, but please, people, subscribe to the YouTube page. The shows will be on there. You can definitely direct other people to the page if they're curious about, hey, what's the streets are talking? What is that about? What is the video podcast? You can send them right to our YouTube page. Subscribe to it. Anything we post, you will receive. You'll get an email showing that it posted and what it is. We just trying to involve as many people as we can. The streets are talking, and they're talking a whole bunch. One day we want to look up and we want to see this platform full with 100 people from across the globe. That's our goal. That's our mission.
That's our goal, and it's gonna happen. We putting it out there in the air, so it's gonna happen, and we're gonna keep grinding it out and keep doing what we do, coming up with interesting people. And everybody if you've been on this show more than once, or even if this is your first show, it's not just about me and Clarence hosting the show. It's more about the people that they see on a weekly basis. So we understand, and Clarence and I have talked about it, that, hey, you know what, on Friday nights, things break out. Some people might have stuff to do on Friday. So we just like to say, hey, look at this as tell people that you're part of a weekly video podcast, and maybe you're out to dinner and you just quickly on your phone just do a 15-minute, hey, let me pop in and say, hey, what's up to my people? Because a lot of you are meeting people that you never would have met before. And so my goal is to connect people that like for instance, Charlie Morgan, like in gangster movies. I love gangster movies. The Godfather, The Casino, all of them movies. I've seen them 100 million times. So just knowing we have an interest in that, I hadn't talked to Will in a long time, and we reconnected. So I just want to encourage everybody have a good week. Be safe. By this time next week, it's gonna be some new shit out and some new news out, and we hope tell somebody new, tell a friend, tell somebody new to come out, and hopefully Derek's father will come and talk about his 30-year history that he had, which is may bring tears to some people's eyes when you really think about it. But we want to give him a platform to be able to tell his story, and so we definitely are open to that. So listen, everybody, be safe. We're getting ready to get out of here. Don't let nobody provoke y'all. Don't let nobody provoke y'all. We don't want
know those switches.
Right, know those switches. Hey, kill them with intelligence. Kill them with intelligence. That's what we got to do. That's the lesson for the week. We're gonna come back next week and we're gonna say, how many people did you kill with intelligence? And have fun with it. So listen, we got to get out of here. Everybody have a good night.
Good night,
and a good
everybody.
week, and we'll see you next Friday, same time, same Zoom station.
Good night.